Howdy folks, Dreadshells here, and welcome back to World of Tanks. Once again, want to apologize like I did in my last couple of videos, at least in the description, about the lack of content on the channel over the last couple of weeks. I've just been really busy. As I said in the description of those videos, I've been helping out. As you guys may or may not know, there was a fellow World of Tanks player and streamer named Pashi who passed away a couple weeks ago unexpectedly, and I was helping out some of my friends who knew him, setting up a charity and getting logistics communicated to other streamers who wanted to help contribute and bring awareness to that charity. I believe the charity is still up. I haven't double checked it today, but if you would like to contribute to Pashi's children and helping secure their financial future, you can do so in the link that I will provide for you guys in the video description below. But moving on to the game today, we have a SP1C game on mines, or as it's known in the replays, hills. And I'm showing you guys this game not so much because of it being a stellar statistical game, but it's just kind of funny how the entire battle unfolded. I'm just going to dive in real quick here on the matchmaker and get as far as the composition, and then we'll get going. There's basically two options that you can do from the north spawn on standard mode in a scout. You can either rush to the hill, and from there you can work on spotting the enemy sniper sitting back here on the J line and the K lines, and also you can get a lot of pressure on enemy tanks that are sitting here along the 7, 8, 9 lines, because you can peek over on the east side of the ridge. And the second option that you can do is go over here and play on the 1 line, where you can get vision in. If you look on the mini map here, you can get vision basically on this whole southwest pocket. Spot snipers back here in K4 and K5. You can also get the vision on tanks sitting in G4, and of course you can get vision on enemy tanks sitting here in H1 and J1. Interestingly, if you're sitting in F1, there's a little bush rock area right here that you'll see me play in a little bit in this battle, that you can actually get side shots in on enemy tanks sitting here in the middle. Specifically tanks that are sitting here, if you look at the mini map, tanks that are sitting here on this F4 rock. There's a gap right here in this 3-line ridge that you can shoot across, and enemy tanks that are hiding back here trying to shoot your teammates as they cross up into the top of the hill perhaps, or peeking around this E5 rock. The enemy tanks like to sit here sometimes, and you can shoot them from this F1 position as well. But actually what I'll do is I'm going to jump into a free cam here and show you guys why I generally don't like to go to the hill from the north spawn as a general rule, unless I know that I have a really good team composition advantage, and we don't. Their team is way more mobile than ours. They have an FCM 50T, which is technically a heavy tank, but it plays a lot more like a medium tank. The SDA-2 is fairly mobile. The Revelarize, even though it's really big and it doesn't have any armor really, it is fairly mobile enough. The Scorpion G, he might not be going to the hill, but he's a very quick tank destroyer, and he'll be setting up here in whatever sniper position he's going to choose, and he'll be ready to fire. They have the Panther, the Bulldog, which is an autoloader, the SP1C, the enemy SP1C, which may or may not be using an autoloader as well, a Cromwell, and a VK2801. And what do we have over here? We have a FE4202, myself, an EZ8, T21, and Chaffee. So they vastly outgun us as far as their mobility is concerned with being able to take the hill. So I'm not even going to try to take the hill just by looking at their team compositions, and I'm going to go over here to the 1 line. But like I said, I'm going to jump into free cam real quick and show you guys why in general I usually like to play the 1 line and not so much the hill from the north spawn on mines. Alright, so this is why I don't like going to the hill from the north spawn. You rush up here, you go through the middle, you get up here, and you get up to the top of the hill, let's say for instance safely, and maybe the enemies aren't able to send any tanks around here to put pressure on you because you have your heavies or whoever here in the center lane preventing them from crossing. However, if you do make it up to the top of the hill, there is a little bit of a problem for the north spawn. And that is because there is absolutely no arty cover other than sitting behind this building right here or sitting behind this large knoll here. And if you sit behind this knoll here, of course you can get shot from the middle. And if you sit behind the house, you're pretty much useless for not being able to get vision or shots in on anything. And the main reason why this is because, let's see if I can zoom up even more so, and maybe go to the side. And this is because Artie sits back in this back corner for the south spawn team, right? So when the north spawn team rushes up onto the hill like this, guess what? The south spawns team has shots in onto the top of the hill, no matter where you're sitting on this horseshoe or this south side of the hill right here, because this ridge right here is actually directly parallel to the line of fire that artillery have on this side of the hill. There is a rock right here on the east side of the hill that you can use, but once again, that will only keep you Artie safe relatively from one particular spot. If Artie's sitting over here, they can still shoot you, and of course, if you're sitting behind this rock to give you cover from the south, you can get shot from tanks along the east side. But, however, let's see if I can speed up the camera angle here. If you're rushing up to the top of the hill from the south spawn, let's say at the beginning of the game, and you're going up here like this, and you go up to the hill, you make it to the center ramp, and you don't get obliterated by tanks sitting here in the middle, and you get in over here. Guess what? You are actually already safe right here, as long as you're sitting behind this knoll right here. Because the enemy already sitting on the north spawn, either in his corner or on top of the hill here, or maybe back here right behind the cap zone, cannot shoot you because this little knoll right here, or little knoll, not so little, this large mound right here protects you and keeps you already safe. Now granted, it's a lot easier to spot the south team's campers and snipers from this ridge right here, so that is an advantage for the north team if you take the hill. And it's a lot easier to do that than the south team if you win the hill, because if you try to spot the campers back here from these positions here, generally there's a lot of tanks from the north spawn that sit in this little cubby hole back here. Let's see if I can zoom up here a little bit so you can see it better. Generally a lot of tanks from the north team, if they get pushed into a defensive position rather, they will be sitting along this ridge right here, and they will proxy spot you every time you try to peek and sit in these bushes to spot their snipers back here. So that is an advantage that the north team has if you successfully win the hill. However, generally I don't go to the hill unless I know that I'm going to have a lot of support and that the enemy team probably won't send more than 1 or 2 tanks at most to try and take the hills. So generally what I do is I like going over here to the 1 line and trying to get vision over here on the south team's island over here, and getting vision into the sniper area back here. So that is why I generally like to play the 1 line from the north spawn and not so much play the hill from the north spawn. Alright, so now that I've explained a little bit more why I prefer playing the 1 line over here, generally more often as opposed to the hill from the north spawn, from going into free cam there, you get a better idea of why I'm thinking that. Now, that being said, I definitely will try to take the hill every time that I think I have a chance of taking the hill, right? But if I think that the team have even 1 or 2 more tanks better suited for assaulting the hill than ours, I won't even bother to try, because too many times I end up on the losing side. So I'd rather have better chances playing over here. So anyway, I'm done rambling, and let's just get started with this battle. As we can see, we have a Chaffee and T-21 going to the hill. Looks like we have a 25-2 moving over here to maybe support. But as you can see, even though we have mediums, technically they're a lot slower than their team. And I forgot to open up the team list. There we go. And we spot their SDA-2 moving over here into the southwest corner of the map as we approach. Really bad shot there. The SP-1C actually has really slow shell velocity, something around 600, 650 meters per second. I don't remember the exact velocity, but you have to lead your shots a lot more in the SP1C on moving targets because it takes a lot longer for your shell to reach the target. I was also wanting to reverse behind the bush so that the SDA-2 wouldn't spot me when I fired, but I just didn't have enough time to do so. He was about to drive into cover, and I just needed to take the shot and hope for the best. Now they have their Panther crossing out into the open here from the K4. Initially was surprised that I got spotted shooting at the Panther, and then I realized that I was exposing myself to line of sight to the SDA-2. That was really bad positioning on my part, really bad bush work. Also not very good work there using the rock as concealment for my retreat from my previous position, and the SDA-2 was able to re-spot me, and I wasn't keeping the rock in between me and him appropriately. But if you look at the mini-map, we have a huge problem going on here. We sent a lot of tanks into the middle. We have a couple of top-tier armored tanks, our T-28, which has really good armor, although it's slow, and our IS-6, which has really good armor, especially since he's top-tier. They are camping the A4 sniper perch. And because of that, we have left the entire eastern side of the map open, and an enemy IS has discovered that we haven't sent anyone over here, and now he's wrapping around and putting pressure on our tanks in the middle from behind. I have to retreat and try to assist my tanks who are getting shot from behind now. They have a 25-2 who has also moved over. Surprisingly bounce off of him. Maybe I hit his gun, or maybe the very edge of his tracks. Able to avoid a shell from the Panther there. And now at this point in the game, it is completely irrelevant about being proactive with vision, other than maybe spotting for our IS-6 and T-28. Unfortunately, that first shot goes low and hits the dirt in front of the Panther. But right now my main goal is supporting my teammates, either my charioteer right here in front of me who needs my help, or my tanks over here in the middle on the 4 of the 5 line and the size 5, supporting them whenever the enemy is pushing them. Because unfortunately, if you look at our dispersion here on the mini-map, we only own about 1/4 of the map, and the enemy have all the angles of attack on us. So I can't be proactive at all. I just had to be supporting my teammates and doing as much damage to the enemy as possible whenever they're pushing one of my teammates. Now the SDA-2 that we spotted at the start of the game is now pushing our charioteer. It looks like our charioteer is using the small gun, or maybe he fired Hesh and didn't pen the SDA-2. And I put a shot into the SDA-2 to try and support our charioteer, and we get the SDA-2 killed, but unfortunately the charioteer took another shot of damage, and now he's a one-shot. I also took another shot of damage from the Panther, who's still sitting in E1. And during that entire exchange, we lost 2 more tanks sitting here that were in the middle. And now we are still behind 5 tanks, and we've been behind 5 tanks for maybe the last couple of minutes in this battle. We spot the Scorpion here moving across on the 3 line. Stick around for a second shot, but I don't want to stick around for a third shot because he has a fairly quick aim time, and he could potentially one-shot me with his 490 Alpha gun if he rolls a little bit high. I stuck around for the second shot because he hadn't started aiming at me after I fired the first shot, so I figured I'd push my luck, and if he hit me, then it was because he would snapshot me. Spot the IKV sitting next to the Scorpion and decide to go for the Scorpion and get his gun out of the fight, as he is a much more dangerous tank to myself and my team than the IKV-65, the tier 6 Swedish tank destroyer. End up taking a hit from the IKV, unfortunately, so now that means that I'm a one-shot for about half the enemy team, roughly. Potentially, and especially if any of them are shooting high explosive, which is a really good choice to shoot at an SP1C because it's really thinly armored. Generally, you'll be penning with your high explosive shells more often than not when you're shooting at an SP1C. Now this FCM-50T, he's wrapped around the eastern side of the map, and now he's trying to put pressure on our IS-5 here that's sitting in D5. My second shot was about to land there, but our IS-5 was able to defend himself. Trying to peek here, trying to keep vision on enemy tank movement here on the 1, 2, 3 line, so I know what's going on and so that my teammates know what's going on. And we are still behind a lot of tanks, and we are losing tanks about at an equal rate that they are, which is really, really bad. We need to start killing more tanks than they on their team than they are killing on ours. Unfortunately, we bounced our second shot because the Panther was angled as he was driving in his approach. Otherwise, I would have killed him there. Unfortunately, I should have gone for a turret shot and not a side hole shot. And now I'm just trying to kite them and give myself time to reload my clip. Fortunately, they gave me about the 5 seconds that I needed to finish reloading, take out the Rebel Arize, and now I want to take out this Bulldog. Willing to take a hit from him, potentially. Fortunately, he misses and the IKV misses, which means that I am still alive. If the Bulldog and the IKV both would have hit me, I would be dead. I don't remember what the alpha damage is on the IKV. It's 200 something, I believe. And the Bulldog's alpha damage is 150, I believe. So I definitely would have been dead. The Panther's a one-shot, so I clean him up. But I was willing to go around and kill the Bulldog and be proactive because he's has a 10-shot autoloader and he's a really dangerous tank. And if I eliminate his gun, it increases our chances of winning. And now suddenly we pulled it back, and now we have 2 tier 8 heavies and myself versus the IKV and the enemy GW Panther. The IKV surprisingly moves up. I was not expecting that considering the circumstances. Kind of making myself an easy target for enemy arty right now. I probably should have moved over to this rock right here. There we go. The GW Panther fired at me. But I'm showing you guys this game here because it's really funny that the enemy team, despite having all the advantages, right? They had all the positional advantages. They had all the angles of attack, the angles of fire, the vision. They put all the pressure on us. They were up on tanks, and by at least 5. I think that they were ahead by 5 several times during the course of the battle. And there we go, the IS-5 takes out the GW Panther, who for some reason thought he would charge down the 7-8 line, so unfortunately we weren't able to get any more damage in this game. But it's still fortunate that we were able to win this game at all, considering the dispersion that our team made. We didn't send anybody over here to the eastern side of the map, not even in a defensive position, say in maybe in D7 or a D8 either, maybe just to know when the enemy are coming and then fall back further. We had some top tier tanks that were camping back here in A4, which is also not good, especially when they have armor. When you have armor in your top tier, you should be willing to take the hits for your team as you have more HP and you have the armor that maybe you'll bounce the enemy far more likely than your middle and bottom tier tanks. And then all of our tanks here in the middle got obliterated, probably by Artie and by the Pinzer that they were in. Once the enemy had won the one line, I had to retreat from the one line, remember, because I was trying to support our teammates that were starting to get shot up in the north side of the hill from behind, from the east, when the enemy started wrapping around. So that left the one line open over here. The enemy pushed up and started shooting our tanks in the side, I believe is how that was happening. And we lost a lot of tanks in the middle. But fortunately, the enemy were really tentative, and they came in 1 or 2 at a time, and we were able to pick them off and pull out the battle in the end. So I thought you guys might find this watching this battle pretty amusing, and watch how the enemy team threw the game. They had all the advantages, and there is no reason why they shouldn't have won the game. But we won the game because in the end, our defensive teamwork was better than their offensive teamwork. I want to thank you guys for watching this video. I have more replays that I'm going to be showing you guys hopefully over the next couple weeks or so. Most of them are from patch 9.17 and not 9.17.1, as I'm kind of behind in looking through my folder and seeing what games I would like to show. And also giving you guys a heads up, in about a month or month and a half, I won't be uploading very much, if any, content on my channel, as I will be really busy in real life. I have several things I need to work on as far as employment and housing and things like that, and I will just be really busy for several months, and I can't give you guys a deadline on when I will be able to start working on content on my channel again. But I will try to do my best to get as much content done on my channel in the next couple of weeks, so you guys have a few things to watch. I want to thank you guys for watching this video. Happy hunting and take care.